this episode.
It's time for our first ever podcast road trip.
As we bring you news, the plot of peril,
And an on-stage appearance from Alan Tracy.
all live from Elstree Studios and Jamie's car
That's all coming up in Pod 72.
of the Gerry Anderson Podcast.
Let's get started. Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
The Gerry Anderson Podcast with Jamie Anderson and Richard James.
Oh, Jamie.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
Shut the door.
Lovely to see you.
Yes, well, here we are on the Gerry Anderson Podcast for our very first road trip.
Yeah.
Now, I suppose we ought to introduce ourselves before we go any further. You are the driver.
I am Jamie Anderson, piloting Thunderbird 7.5.
And I'm Richard James, your, probably I've been rescued from some awful disaster somewhere.
Oh, I thought you were co-piloting.
Oh, okay, well, fine. Yes. Now, where are we going, Jamie?
We're currently en route to Elstree Studios, also known as Harlington Straker Studios for UFO.
Yes. That's right. Yes, because tonight is the ITC 2 Elstree event, which we're very excited about because, of course, there is a Gerry Anderson connection there, isn't there?
Yes.
It being
Well,
what?
ITC,
Yeah.
Lou Grade, the man who commissioned the vast majority of Dad's best-known output from Four Feather Falls. Well, sort of.
Yeah.
But from Supercar on Space 1999.
Yeah.
So, yes, we're going there to celebrate, and I think Alan Tracy himself is attending.
Fantastic.
Matt Zimmerman, that is.
Yes, that's right. And Nicholas Briggs, I believe, will be in attendance.
Oh, well, unfortunately, yes. And also Tim Beddoes, who's the MD of Network Distributing.
Great. So it's a bit of a jolly, really, isn't it?
We do hope so, yeah.
Now, as we go along, we'll be trying to fit in some of our usual items in the podcast this week. So let me tell you what you've got in store as we drive along towards the M4. A little later on, of course, we have Chris Dale's Randomizer, whereby he sits down and gives us his views and comments on a random Gerry Anderson episode from a random series. We have Plot of Peril, of course, and you've been emailing and twittering and Facebooking in your droves yet again, so I shall be picking a winner from this week's Plot of Peril. We've got some news from the Gerry Anderson universe, and do we have an interview this week, or are we going to try and make it up with various bits and pieces from the event this evening, Jamie?
Ooh. Let's see how we go, I suppose.
Yes.
There may or may not be an interview.
Yeah, stay tuned. In the meantime, of course, you can get in touch with us. Just email us at podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk, hashtag us on Twitter, hashtag Gerry Anderson Podcast. You can tag him, I'm Jamie Anderson, or me, Richard N. James. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review, and share us with your friends so they can hear us too.
Nice work, Richard. And we should just say that we are about to come past the King's Arms pub at Cookham.
We are.
The birthplace of the voice of Parker, of course. And
Yes.
that well-known story, which we've all heard 3,000 times before. But also a place where, 55, 56 years ago, the core team from AP Films and Century 21 would go out boozing at lunchtime.
Yes, quite right too. That's right. And if we are heading towards the M4, we're also, you're going the other way, but very nearby, of course, is Islet Park Mansions as well,
Yes.
where it sort of all began, really, didn't it? Yeah. So it's very much is Anderson country, isn't it?
We're inadvertently doing a sort of studio tour of Gerry Anderson Productions and pubs.
So we'll leave it there for now, and we'll get back to you just as soon as we arrive at Elstree. So after a very enjoyable journey...
It was quite nice, wasn't it?
Yes, here we are on actually a beautiful autumn evening, just arriving at Elstree Studios for fun and games.
Richard, we're not arriving at Elstree Studios. We are just nearby Elstree Studios. We're actually in the Tesco car park.
Yeah, there's something called, building the tension, isn't there? That's what I'm trying to do, just
And
to
then
paint a picture.
Destroying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Other supermarkets are available. But where we've just seen the queue.
We
It's
have.
a big long queue to get in.
That's
isn't
right.
there?
Now, so as we head on in, shall we head on over to the Gerry Anderson News?
Oh, what with other Richard and Jamie who aren't at Elstree?
If they're obliging, yes.
Okay, go on then, gents. Go.
Newsy news.
Yes. Thanks, past Richard and Jamie, for handing over to present Richard and I.
Here's the weird thing, Jamie. We know how the rest of their evening's going to go, don't we?
Yes, poor them.
Hey, they've got all those sausage rolls to look forward to.
Yeah, and those fish sticks, which nobody ate.
Jaffa cakes.
Which people did eat.
Now, listen, actually, here's the thought. I'm going to give our past selves a bit of a tip then. So,
Okay.
Past Richard and Jamie, if you can hear me, at the end of your evening, just visit the gents' toilets, and there might be someone in there.
Oh. Of course, yes. Of course we know, don't we? But yeah, what a great tip. What a great tip.
Well, we'll see how they get on. Anyway,
let's
news.
It is news time, yes. Richard,
Yes?
you know an interesting thing about warehouses.
Let me think.
Well, sometimes cyborgs from the future travel back to prevent a disaster and thereby create themselves.
That has been known, yes, it's true.
But in this case, I'm talking about those lovely times when you suddenly find something that you'd forgotten was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that has just happened for us and network distributing.
Get away.
Yes.
Shut the warehouse door.
Well, we will now because we've got these little bits and pieces. So, a warehouse find has led to some rather special things being available. 3 of the things are now available from the Gerry Anderson store as a bundle. And those 3 things are the special edition TV21 and 2 packs of commemorative postcards that were originally only as part of the Super Mario Nation box set, which is now sold out.
Ah.
I need a breath now.
Yes.
So you can pick up all 3 of those. If you missed out on the box set or you want an extra set of these things, they're rather lovely.
Yeah.
So it's the only kind of modern full issue of TV21, kind of picking up where the original left off in many ways.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice thing to have. And the commemorative postcards are great. There's some just retro images from across the Super Mario Nation shows, and also a pack of 6 special TV21 cover postcards. Right. And you can get all 3 of those items in a bundle for
all 3 of them?
$9.99. All 3.
What's the third one?
Well, the 2 postcard set 1, postcard set 2, and TV21.
I'm very simple.
You're being difficult.
Yeah.
You're being awkward. The other thing that has turned up are a few hundred UFO posters that were originally only sent out folded with the special edition UFO Blu-ray box set, which sold out again.
Yeah.
But these are rolled posters, so they're great for display because they're not all creased, obviously. Folding, that's what folding does, doesn't it?
That's right, it does, unfortunately.
And they will be available from this coming weekend on the Gerry Anderson store, so just search for UFO posters. So there you go. That's exciting.
Isn't it?
Yeah. On a sort of TV21 theme, AC, our roving reporter, Andy Clems, as he's known in this particular context, has been out reporting on further adventures for A21, including a recent heroic event for Captain Magenta. But I'm not going to say any more than that. Ooh. Listeners, you may be aware by now that because we've been off to Elstree, in the car, our past selves, there is no Alex Bell interview this week. That has been moved, so that will now be in pod 73 and 74, and instead, later on, you'll be hearing from Matt and Lorraine.
Yeah, indeed.
Sounds like a breakfast television duo, doesn't it?
It does, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, and me.
Yeah, you'll be there as well.
Yeah, I think I arrived eventually. So Alex Bell is one of those many people who pre-ordered a Christmas jumper, Thunderbird's Christmas jumper. The Christmas jumper is now sold out in almost all sizes.
Is it?
Yes, I think we've got some medium, extra large, and 2XL left, maybe, but that's it.
Yeah, okay.
So pop along and grab them before you miss out forever, because we're not going to do any more this Christmas. That's it.
Yeah.
I know it's not Christmas anywhere near yet, but it will be soon. And if you have pre-ordered, don't forget they're coming out to you at the end of November, early December. Had a couple of emails saying, "Where's my Christmas jumper? I want to wear it in October." Yes. Well, it's a pre-order and they're not ready yet, so there we go. Chris Dale has been at it again with some more primers.
He's always at it with his primers.
I know. Well, he's running out of primers.
I should imagine he is.
We're getting low on the primers.
Yeah.
I think there's Lavender Castle and New Captain Scarlet.
Dick Spanner.
And Dick Spanner. That's going to be a short one.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do a Lost Worlds primer, which would be pretty cool. Maybe he'll even do a Doppelganger one. Anyway, there you go. But the Stingray one is out. It's great. Share it with a friend. I noticed somebody commented earlier on today, day of recording, far in the future, past Rich and Jamie, and sometime in the past for you, dear listener.
Yes.
They commented saying because they'd seen this primer, they went and bought the Stingray DVD.
Oh, yeah.
But that's great. Again, that's exactly what we want. We want people to discover these things. We want the shows to be accessible.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a super fan to enjoy stuff on the Gerry Anderson YouTube channel.
No.
But there is certainly stuff to please you as well.
Yeah.
dear super.
Something for everyone, exactly.
Absolutely. The Gerry Anderson World Cup is rapidly heading towards its climax,
Now,
Richard.
when do we think we're going to get to the final?
I can't remember which day it is, but it's sometime this week, I think.
When are we then going to reveal our predictions? Remember last time we spoke, you said, why don't you write down the top 5?
Yeah, well, we can open our envelopes in Pod 73.
Great.
And see how we did compared to the result of the final.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, so pop along and vote there. Just search hashtag GA World Cup. Mm-hmm. And even if you're not on Twitter, you can keep an eye with the results because they're being talked about on our Facebook group.
Yeah, that's right.
Facebook.com/groups/podsterons.
Yes.
And finally, Richard, I think I'm correct in saying that next Monday, after the day of release, is that the 4th of November?
Is it?
Something like that, I think.
Yes, I think it is, you're right.
Well, it's the first Monday of November, so what happens then?
Well, it must be Fab Live already.
Again?
What? How did that happen?
It feels like it was only a couple of weeks ago, but, well, I suppose it was at this point. Yeah. So, Fab Live, our almost monthly, and actually has been recently monthly, live broadcast across YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and Facebook.
That's right, yes.
So do send in your thoughts, comments, photos, artwork, whatever, to fablive@gerryanderson.co.uk for that.
Great.
And Richard, are we doing it from yours or from mine?
Oh, I don't know if we've got that far yet, have we? I don't mind, I'll come to you.
We can come up with a plan, can't we?
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be from one of our locations.
That's right, yes.
Although I have actually got a slight problem in that my laptop has developed a fatal hard drive error. So, although I'm recording on it right now, I'm recording to a separate hard drive because there's been some
it
problems.
has been known, hasn't it, Jamie? Every now and then we have a little technical snafu occasionally on the old Tab Live.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's
really
noticed.
No. Nobody's ever commented on it for sure. Got away with it. So we'll probably be fine. So fingers crossed, no more snafus.
Indeed.
And in fact,
yes,
that's the end of the Gerry Anderson snafus.
That was the snafus. That was the snafus. Yeah, Gerry Anderson snafus.
Snuff news.
Snafoozy oozy ooze. That's not wrong, is it?
Oh, oozy ooze. Yuck.
Anyway, just before we hand back to past Richard and Jamie,
yes,
of course, it's time for us to reveal this week's plot of peril, Jamie.
Oh.
So I've got the machine here. Just take the. Oh, crikey!
Ow!
Sorry about that. Wow.
You walloped me right in the face with that.
Well, it's that new lever I put on, you see. I wasn't happy with the old one, but this one's going to be much more effective, I think. Now, for those of you who haven't heard this before, of course, the plot of peril involves me pulling the lever on this here plot device. It'll give you 3 things. It'll give you a character from the Gerry Anderson universe, a random everyday object, and a location. And it's up to you, dear listeners, to stitch them together into a Gerry Anderson-esque plot and send them in to podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk, post them on our Facebook group, or even hashtag it plot of peril on Twitter, and I shall see it there. So, if you remember last week, the plot device gave us Tex Tucker as the character, an office stapler as the random everyday object, and my sock drawer as the location.
Oh, yes.
Now, we did have lots of entries as ever. Thank you to Angus Dust, to Farah Shimbo, to Jay, to Simpsons Clips 24 for sending in your entries. I picked out a couple.
Okay,
So,
I'm ready.
First of all, I'd like to go with Jonathan Westall, who got in touch with us to say it was his first attempt at Plot of Peril, and because of that, I think it's all the better. Listen to this. So, Richard James has hired Tex Tucker to investigate strange goings-on in his house. After many hours looking around, Tex finds the culprits responsible, Richard's socks, which have strangely come to life in his sock drawer. Unfortunately, Tex has left his hat and guns by the front door, and in a desperate search for a weapon to fight the evil socks, comes across an office stapler, and uses it to great effect to tackle and pair up the socks in the process. Handy, isn't it?
Stapled socks, yeah. That would certainly keep mine paired.
But the winner for this week, not that there is really a winner, but this one tickled me. It's from Simon Allen, who actually, past you and I, Jamie, are about to meet in Elstree.
Yes. Good luck, Richard and Jamie. Say hello from us.
That's right. So Simon Allen on our Facebook group posted, Richard is hosting a super marionation party at his house. Unfortunately, Father Unwin has come a little tipsy and is blasting everyone with his minimizer. Joe 90 is now knee-high to a grasshopper and Stingray has been flushed down the loo, but Tex Tucker is missing and a search is made by the Tracy brothers and Torchy lights the way. They eventually find him in Richard's sock drawer practicing the bucking bronco on a minimised office stapler. After plenty of black coffee, Father Unwin returns everyone to normal and Richard decides his next party should have no strings attached.
Oh.
I mean, they were all in there, weren't they? Father Unwin, the
Nice.
Tracy brothers, Torchy, Stingray. So
Kitchen
Simon
sink.
Allen, yeah, I think definitely wins this week's Plot of Peril. However,
Well done,
is
Simon.
it time now to pull the shiny lever?
Nothing would please me more than to see you do that. And in fact, nothing would please me more than to hear you do that.
Right, here we go. So, for this week's Plot of Peril, listen carefully. Here comes your character from the Gerry Anderson universe. Oh, Captain Scarlet's Destiny Angel.
Oh.
Oh, your random everyday object. It's a foot pump.
Oh.
Finally, your mystery location. Stonehenge.
Cool.
There we go. So, we have Captain Scarlet's Destiny Angel, a foot pump, and Stonehenge. Can you weave those three strands together into a semi-coherent Gerry Anderson plot? Send them in to podcast@gerryanderson.co.uk, pop it on the Facebook group page, or hashtag it Plot of Peril.
Brilliant. And I look forward to next week, Richard,
Yeah.
you doing your very best performance of those.
Right.
Doing your very best Destiny Angel French accent. Because I think hearing you say foot pump and Stonehenge
Yeah.
will
very
be
good.
amazing.
I've got a week to practice.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
And
There
to
we
you,
are.
listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, shall we pop back to Elstree?
Yeah, let's see how they're getting on, shall we? Oh, hang on.
They're all right.
Is that me in the car park? So that's the end of the newsy news. Now, I've just popped outside to the car park because Jamie and Matt Zimmerman are getting ready for their interview. I can hear him doing his vocal warm-up now. So let's just pop back in and see what they've got to say.
Joining Jamie are two people who, of course, appeared in his father's shows. The first one appeared not only in person, but also as a voice as well on Thunderbirds, and appeared in person in UFO. Please welcome the fantastic Matt Zimmerman.
Hiya, boss. How are you?
And joining Matt and Jamie is a lady who appeared in two ITC shows, The Adventurer with Gene Barry. I'm sure some of you mentioned that, remember that series. And also 3 episodes of Space 1999, which was a Gerry Anderson show. And here she is, Lorraine Humphreys. Thanks ever so much for joining us again to talk about the great work
Tonight.
your dad put together. Yes, Matt. Tonight.
Joining us tonight.
Yes, what did I say?
You said today.
Today, well, it's still a Saturday, I guess.
What?
Tell us, Matt, how you first came to work for Jamie's dad. How did it all come about?
Oh my God. Well, it's a simple story. I needed work. No. Yes, well, I kept being told I was too noisy. What happened was, a friend of mine, David Holliday, had been cast as Virgil. I was in a show called High Spirits at the Savoy. And apparently they had trouble, I don't know whether they had trouble. We had trouble right here in River City, casting the voice of Alan. And my friend said to Sylvia, get Matt Zimmerman. So I got a phone call from her secretary, although I'd been warned by David. And I went down to the studio, saw her secretary, and she said, she's waiting for you in there. And I knocked on the door. She said, come in. I opened the door to come in. And she said, don't talk. Say nothing. No. I wanted to say okay without speaking it. So she went, oh my God. I said, she said, if you were blonde and blue-eyed, you'd exactly like the puppet. Just like what an actor wants to hear. Or you look like a doll, I don't know which. So I said, thank you very much, Sylvia. She went, oh, that's interesting. Come sit down. So I sat down, and we talked, and I read some lines. And she said, thank you very much for coming in. I'd like you to do the voice of Alan. So I said, fine. And I think we used to do 3 on a Sunday. You weren't born yet. We used to do 3 on a Sunday. And I met Gerry for the first time, because I think I was cast over Gerry's head, personally. Your father used to scare the out of me. He used to sit in that room with the glass to the down while we did it and everything. But I just realized after a while he had a wicked sense of humor, is what I realized. And I got along with that all right, but he did scare me. He used to say something, Matt, and I go, what? You know, we actors are so terrified of direction anyways. And that was how I started to do Alan. Lovely. It was like a family. It was like a family, all of us together. It was just the most wonderful time. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
What's always fascinated me about your dad's puppet shows, how much acting is actually required by someone just providing a voice. It's not just a case of reading lines, especially for you, Matt. Your Tracy brother was a little bit more maybe emotional than some of the other characters. Is it difficult to do an emotional performance when nobody can see your face and you're just providing a voice?
Well, I didn't understand any of that.
Sound like my wife.
You never see an actor's face anywhere if we wear makeup. And Greek players used to wear masks. So the face wasn't necessary. I was brought up a lot on radio. And of course, you have to rely on the voice on radio. Nobody can see you. They have to imagine it. The thing about Thunderbirds and the way it was done, we would record 3 on a Sunday, and it was recorded like a play. It wasn't like, this is a thing for kids or whatever. It was a story, told the best possible way. And then the icing on the cake was when Gerry and his team got together and put the effects in, and the puppets together with the voices moving, that special thing in the head that we all have. It just was wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and after that, a couple of years later, your dad was moving into the live action side of things. Was that something that your dad always really wanted to do, and the puppets was almost a stepping stone to that?
I think you know very well, Rick, that Dad called the puppets little bastards. Because he did not want to work with them. He always said, I wanted to make the next kind of Ben-Hur epic, and he almost managed that with a lot of the puppet shows, Thunderbirds in particular, but it was always his desire to move towards live action. So he got his wish via a slightly circuitous route, making the puppets more realistic, and then doing a very strange blend of puppetry and live action on the Secret Service, which also celebrates its 50th anniversary this year.
Yes.
For 7 people that know the show.
Yes, we do the rest of this interview in a Stanley Unwin style bold.
Gerry, your father. Gerry was so clever. That was the problem. I can remember one time going in the studio at the back. This was in Slough. And they were doing a crash scene. It was like a kitchen table. And things were exploding, and planes were coming in and crashing and everything. And it was done on the kitchen table. Then they showed it on the screen, and it was amazing. Because as far as you could tell, it was all done on the spot. It wasn't done on the kitchen table. And that's where he was so amazing. I mean, to this day, you see Avatar, those helicopters flying around are Gerry's invention. They're up there. It's unbelievable.
So he's moved into live action, UFO being the big one for that. And you were on back on that, Matt. We saw a clip earlier on of you as a pilot.
I was the first. Jerry killed me off in that.
Because you were a puppet.
Because I was a puppet. No. You said it was the first episode. I have to confess that I've always had a big career in musicals, and I was always busy. When Jerry first did UFO and would talk to me about it, I said, I can't do it. Because he had stopped doing things on the Sunday. They were proper recordings. I can't do it, impossible. But he wanted me to do this, and he killed me. He really killed me. He had a whole theory. I don't know why he did this. I think he did it on purpose. He arranged for me in the costume to have a camera fitted to me here, an air thing, and then he put me on a winch and hauled me up to the top of the studio. And then let the wind go on the face, like I'm crashing. And then he dropped me. Bang! He got a nice reaction. No, we'd have to do that again. We did it twice. And that's how he killed me, I mean, I'm sure he enjoyed it tremendously. I was scared out of my mind. Yes, exactly.
Lorraine, obviously, your association with Gerry Anderson was also with live action. Space 1999.
Yes.
You were in 3 or 4 episodes.
Yes, I was.
Do you remember those times and being on the show?
Who I remember the most was Martin Landau, because I think I probably got on 3 or 4 episodes because of Martin Landau. He took quite a shine to me. So I played numerous different parts.
Did you enjoy your time on the series?
Oh, no, it was great. And I mean, in fact, the first thing I ever did here was Up Pompeii, the film, when I was only 16, played Flavia in that.
Barbara happy about you and Amanda?
She never let on.
Oh.
But then there were others, I'm quite sure.
Others with you or with him?
With him.
That wasn't your first brush with ITC, of course. Years before that, you were in The Adventurer. Do you remember anything about being in The
Is that with Gene Barry?
It is, yes.
Yeah, I had one. The funny thing is, I do remember this because American television then was incredibly buttoned up. Everything had to be. There were no cleavages, nothing like that. So I certainly wasn't there for that at this time. And I remember having to have a buttoned-up blouse with jeans. And it was a secretary or something.
How did you find working with him? Because he gets a bit like Patrick McGowan. He's sort of a Marmite character that
he was quite dismissive. I mean, I was just had a quick little scene with him, and Gene and I know. Oh, but he did. There was someone else who's can't remember the guy's name now. Quite a famous English actor, and. He got me in touch with some old rogue in Canada because I was going over to see my grandfather. But no, Gene Barry and I just did the scene, that was it. I mean,
And of course, lots of you, I think I'll get lynched if I don't mention this, lots of you will know you from the Carry On films, of course, as with so many of the
actors that I did Carry On Girls with Valerie Leon.
Yeah.
And that was like, we talk about health and safety, that was one of the unsafest things I've ever done in my life. We were the beauty queens and we had to come down the slope. And in those days, they put fairy liquid on the slope. And we really fell. And we were in stilettos and bikinis.
Why did they put fairy liquid on the steps?
You have to make a slip.
Oh, I see.
And you did Carry On Dick as well later on.
And then I did, I really loved
Which was the last proper Carry On.
It was the last one, yeah.
How was working with Sid James,
I was a very youngster.
Working with Sid James, Kenneth Williams must have been
They
something.
were all fab. They were all such a lovely thing. And then I did a TV show called Whose Baby Are You? And Barbara came back on. And she's, God bless her, she's one of the nicest people you could ever want to meet. But Penny Irving and I are still great buddies. We talk all the time on the phone. I don't know about Eva Rubinstein or Linda.
Matt, of course, you did a lot of comedy as well as Lorraine. things like Jeeves and Wooster and Never the Twain. I mean, who could have thought such a thing? But did you always enjoy doing comedy? You're a natural performer.
I love comedy. Yeah. I mean, the one thing about comedy that I was always very good at is that I'm not a corpser. And things would happen, and everybody else would fall about, and I would just look. That goes back to, so many great artists in America, like Jack Benny, who would just go. And so I do like comedy. The fact that I could sing and dance was beside the point, so I could mentally mix it up with musicals, and that's the word. So that was it. But no, I did comedy. I find comedy in every situation. It's always comedy. My whole life is a comedy.
And what's great about the Gerry Anderson shows is that they're having a bit of a really good time at the moment, because a lot of the satellite and cable channels are re-showing things like Space 1999 and a lot of these shows. We actually have with us tonight, Dan, have you got your microphone? Could you just rush over to the stall area? We have with us Adam Hardwick, who's the head of TV at Forces Television. And Forces are one of the channels that have been showing a lot of these shows, Space 1999 and others. I think Adam's just going to tell us briefly, how did this come about that because you're the British Forces channel essentially, so how did it come about that you're showing these Gerry Anderson shows?
What a build-up. Well, the reason was that on our UK channel we decided to grow the schedule from a community schedule, and we grew the schedule in peak time with wartime dramas, really. Wish Me Luck, Danger UXB, and Sharon and Harvey Moon, made largely across the road from here, little Elstree connection. And obviously, because I'm here tonight, I'm a bit of a fan of certain things, ITC. So I suggested, look, this is the year of the MOD space programme, this is the year of the RAF going into space. Let's try one of my favourites. The amount of interest that a tiny channel of ours got from playing 2 episodes of UFO on a Saturday tea time was immense. And the nostalgia from die-hard fans, but also, interestingly, a lot of people who say they watched the show in the 70s and never looked at it again until they came to us. And from there we grew. And we've had a lot of fun actually with making trails, with talking about the show, social media, interacting with fans who will put us right on things that don't always go right for us. Jamie's laughing there, I've chatted to him about this. And also with Space 1999 earlier this year. And a bit of kudos for us as Forces TV, because on the back of Forces TV showing Space 1999, Horror Channel have just started it.
Well, thank you very much for showing these shows. I think we'd all like to thank Adam for putting this stuff on. Thank you, Adam.
Beef on that?
Yes, you did repeat fees, yeah. That's a nice one. Jamie, you've obviously been creating original programming based on your father, mainly for Big Finish, but you're also working on your own thing. So what's happening at the moment in the Anderson world?
Well, I was script editing, which when you're working with Nick Briggs as writer means doing vocal work. Nick has just redone Breakaway, Space 1999, the audio drama. Anyone here picked that up so far? One of you, great. Yeah. Well, that's another couple of hundred potential customers, Nick. Get to work after this. Big Finish love Gerry Anderson shows, and they're giving them a great treatment. We've done Terrorhawks and Captain Scarlet and now Space 1999, and I don't think there's any shadow of a doubt that we'll be doing more in the future, Nick. Is that right?
Could be.
Yeah, let's hope so anyway.
Yeah, well, let's hear from Nick. Dan, have you got a mic on the go you could bring down here? Yes, we do have with us the executive producer at Big Finish, Mr. Nick Briggs. You may know him better, as I hope he doesn't mind me introducing this. Here's the voice of the Daleks on BBC's Doctor Who.
Yes.
That's very good without your machinery.
I know, yes, thank you.
You love ITC shows, Nick. You've reimagined several of them. One of which I think you've got something exciting to show us.
Oh, yes.
Tell us about what we're just about to see.
Well, I think, is it the last 2 events I've come along and sounded like a strange voice coming from the audience, and people are thinking, where is he? Anyway, we've done a reimagining of The Prisoner, which has done really well for us. And so I've signed a couple of them today. And we've done 2 volumes of it, and the third and final volume, Can It Really Be Over? If you want to pre-order it, you can go to bigfinish.com.
Well done, Nick.
And the search pane at the top of the page, type in The Prisoner, and you'll find our Prisoner range there.
Thank you very much, Nick. And we're all grateful for all the great ITC stuff you do. You've done The Prisoner, you've done, as Jamie was saying, Terrorhawk, Space 1999. More ITC shows in the future?
That is my hope.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nick. And please thank our wonderful guests on stage, Gerry Anderson, Matt Zimmerman, Lorraine Humphries.
You're still listening to the Gerry Anderson Podcast. We finished our evening now, haven't we, Jamie?
We have. We had to duck out slightly early because, well, I've got a very long drive back. And,
yes, I've got to feed the cats.
You've got to feed the cats.
But what an interesting evening, full of stars, crew members, actors, actresses, stuntmen from the world of ITC.
Yeah, and lovely fans as well, actually.
Yes. So lovely to see Dave Overall.
Yeah,
and Simon Allen.
And Steve was there as well.
Yeah. A highlight for me, well, apart from Matt Zimmerman, of course, is always good value.
And
what?
And what was the other highlight?
Lorraine Humphrey was awesome.
But the third best highlight.
Rick was fantastic. Didn't he ask the most interesting questions?
Yeah, he did. Okay, fine.
Jamie, you did very well.
What was your highlight?
It's always got to be Matt Zimmerman.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've yet to get him on for a proper interview.
I know. Well, yeah.
So,
I don't know why that's... We keep asking him, but... He's very busy, I think.
Yeah, I managed to grab him at Leicester for the Fab Worlds, and so to hear him again tonight was rather lovely.
Yeah, he was in fine form.
He was. And a few little bits and pieces from Big Finish as well, talking about future stuff.
Yes.
Are you able to give us any more information about what they might be sniffing around for future releases? Gerry Anderson-wise?
I'm pretty sure I dropped a massive hint when I was on stage, and if you didn't notice it, then I can't say any more. But
excellent.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a hint of what I would like to do, but let's see. You know, if it was up to me, Big Finish would be doing every single Gerry Anderson release except for Torchy.
Yes.
Because we do have that classic Twizzle script, don't we? Which we could at some point recreate.
We do have that script, yes.
Let's see about that. But yeah, there's definitely more to come.
That's right, yeah, great.
And Paul Weston.
Yes, now tell us about Paul.
Well, I can't tell you much about Paul. Paul was the go-to ITC stuntman from 1964 onwards, I think.
So would have been in the couple of live-action series, Space 1999 UFO.
I don't know if he was in UFO. He may well have been, but he definitely appeared and did some stunting in Space 1999. And he was really interesting, and he kind of takes you... He took us right back to the days when there was no real health and safety, and he was saying basically that the most luxurious padding he had in the early days was a piece of foam back carpet strapped to his back under his shirt.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we should definitely try and get him on for a chat.
Yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Also, another highlight for me was the Jaffa cakes in the green room.
Well, yeah, they were pretty good actually. I haven't had Jaffa cakes for years.
No.
So
smashing orangey bit in the middle.
Oh yeah, lovely. Yeah. And but I wasn't so keen on the fish sticks.
No, quite a few of them left by the end of the night still, weren't they?
Yeah. Do you like fish sticks, podsterons? Do email us fishsticks@gerryanderson.co.uk. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
So I guess it's time now to head on over to the marvellous Chris Dale, isn't it?
Yes. Well, let's hope it's an ITC-themed randomiser, because that would be most appropriate, but it may not be.
Yeah, well...
We have no say. It's random.
Here's hoping. Over to you, Chris.
Oh, a most delicious feast, my friend.
Thank you. I'm glad that it suited your mood of celebration.
Yes, I think you've made a fine selection on the randomizer today. One of my very favourite episodes of Supercar, in fact.
And services merit rewards.
Yes, I was forgetting. For you, this disc contains footage of all the Thunderbirds machines in action and footage of the secret base of International Rescue. Everything you have ever worked so hard to obtain is now yours.
Excellent.
And, best of all, this disc can't be electromagnetically wiped. I know, I've tried.
At last, I have the information I require. And now, the secrets of International Rescue.
Precisely. Right, well, I'll be on my way then. Thanks for the dinner. I'll get out of here before he hits play on the disc. Too late, but a scalper.
I don't believe it.
Well, you said you wanted the secrets of international rescue. You didn't specify which international rescue.
Curse those foolish boys!
And while you're, enjoying that, I'm going to enjoy my pirate plunder.
You stupid, foolish, idiotic failure!
Are you describing me or that film?
Supercar!
So we're back with Supercar. We're back in the first season now, so slightly more secure territory, for me at least, I think, the first season than the second. And we open with this shot of, I think it's a cruise ship. Rather sets up what I feel is one of the great strengths of this episode. This is around the point that I think the Supercar team were comfortable with what they had achieved so far, but now they wanted to push things a bit further. And this episode, I would say along also with Deep 7 that we've already seen, is one where they really push the water effects and the model side of things, probably more so than any previous episode. We've, Black Morgan, piracy in the Pacific. Oh dear. Yeah, a naughty old pirate called Black Morgan started raiding ships at sea. And the ship that he robbed, it did look very much like, a few notches up. Let's be generous, a few notches up from a toy in the bath. But
I shouldn't have thought so. Why?
They just get points for trying with this, because we know this was the beginnings towards something ultimately and very quickly absolutely superb with Stingray, and knowing that it was going to travel to such a wonderful, technically advanced look so quickly.
But I've got another which says Morgan shouldn't be allowed to get away with it.
Yeah, wonderful to see them taking those first steps.
Only that his boat's so fast, nothing can catch up with him.
Except maybe Supercar.
I don't know if anything I said actually just then made any sense at all, but I know what I meant, I think.
Is intriguing, but the Pacific is a sizable piece of water, and I was wondering...
Charging 2.
How do you...
Will we have time to stop in on that secret island, Mike, where they don't have that international rescue organization I've heard so much about lately?
Fire 2.
Here's another way as well to get past the standard Supercar build up to the launch sequence. We've got
fishing, you use bait, right?
Beaker is trying to discuss the situation while we're covering all the normal charging 1 stuff.
Opening roof doors.
Fine, Professor. Come and join us.
Oh, the Professor's coming as well. Everyone's out for the trip this week. I presume Mitch is stuck in the trunk then. I can't imagine they're going to leave Mitch behind.
All aboard. Full boost.
It's a nice group outing for the Supercar team, although seeing 4 puppets in that thing makes you realise legroom. Oh, legroom in Supercar is at a premium here. Must be a very cramped trip.
What is your plan, Mike? And who or what is the bait?
None other than Jason Monroe III, Professor.
Oh, I was hoping it might be Jimmy, Mike. We haven't used him for bait as bait for a while.
We should lure Black Morgan into our net.
And again, something that they're sort of... Oh, yeah, that's a very interesting shot. I was going to say, they're sort of pushing new ground with having the back projected or rear projected, whatever, specially shot footage of the sea and the sky that they shot for real. But they've overlaid Supercar onto that, and they've overlaid the side of Mr. Monroe's ship.
If Mr. Morgan wants my ship, let him come and get it.
I don't know if the part of the ship was a model or if that was done on a puppet stage, but that's potentially 3 elements integrated into one shot there. Again, it's very clever.
Well, I think
it's real pioneering stuff, this, and I know things like Four for the Falls and even dare I say it, that show were taking the first gentle steps in that direction, but Supercar,
we should be in this area about...
You really do see...
Lunchtime. It's nearly 10 in the morning.
The evolution of the Super Mario Nation shows and where what they're ultimately gonna rise to with this.
Hi there. May I come in?
I'm not Mike Mercury. I'm just a guy with a very similar voice.
It was about time to launch Supercar. We must not be seen by Black Morgan before she's in the water.
Anything you say, gentlemen.
I like this Mr. Monroe guy. He's this fat billionaire that they're using as bait. But he is utterly agreeable to the whole thing. It's like he puts his trust in these guys absolutely and totally.
Monroe?
Sure they're real, boy. If you catch Mr. Morgan, there's no use handing him over to the police charged with stealing bits of glass now.
To the extent that he's going to let this pirate potentially steal his diamonds.
Well, between you, Mr. Mercury, and Supercar, I hardly think that'll happen. No, he'll never know what happened.
You're so trusting.
Not when he suddenly gets a taste of that.
That's very sweet.
Anyway, let's get her down under, huh?
I know you expect that sort of behaviour from our heroes, but not necessarily from a guest character. He's a good chap. He's Oh, I've forgotten his name. Mr. Morgan. Was it Mr. Monroe. Morgan's the pirate guy.
Pilot to console. Testing.
Stand by to run up engines.
Roger.
Oh, they've brought a miniature version of the console along with them.
11,000.
How'd they manage that? Where'd they fit that?
15,000.
Yeah, they've got Mitch with them now, so presumably he was in the trunk. Was he in there with the console?
That's a wonderful machine you have there, Professor.
It's rather like Scott lugging his old mobile control computer around everywhere.
He's riding on it too. A lot of money.
Console to pilot.
Pilot here.
Jimmy is leering over my shoulder, Mike. He's quite distracting.
Is that what you have?
Roger, 7 knots, 185. I'm following half a mile astern.
Oh, and again we have... so Supercar is now under the water, and again we have one of these very early shots where they've got the fish tank in front of the model.
Crystal clear, Doc. You want me to switch it?
Even in close-ups like this, again, you can see not just the fish, but like just little bits of detritus just sort of drifting around. It's a lovely touch.
The Argosy will soon be sighted by someone else again. Black Morgan.
Not much action.
Otherwise, we are all wasting our time for absolutely no reason. Oh, there's a... Oh!
You sighted something?
It's the return of that fish.
Something kind of fishy.
The fish with the light on his head.
Gun instead of a bazooka. I might have caught us some supper. Hey, where are we anyway?
Oh, he's not going to attack today. It's the same fish from Deep 7. I thought that was his first appearance, but I guess this was.
Well, are we sure we used enough ground bait? Well, we couldn't do any
I love that fish. He's so scary. He's got so many teeth.
All around the California coast, how we were going pearl fishing and how I was carrying a load of jewels for some friends in Hawaii. Hey, what's little Mitch up to?
Oh, nothing good, I'll warrant.
Black Morgan. There's a boat approaching, bearing 270 from my position.
Oh, thank goodness you brought the monkey along to act as a lookout, otherwise you might have missed the guy you were hoping to trap.
Gee, do you think that's Black Morgan?
Well now, boy, perhaps it is and perhaps it's not, but I feel something like a nibble.
Doesn't look much like a pirate ship to me.
Okay.
Any flag, Mike?
Can't tell from here.
Monroe and myself are going up on deck.
Oh, now a couple of fish in the fish tank have... Oh no, 3 fish have swum right up to the camera.
He's pretty well disguised.
Buzzing around Mike's face.
Are you there, Consul?
Oh, good old fish.
For a closer look.
Looks just like a little old fishing boat to me.
Changing to long focus.
Yes, well, nobody asked you, Jimmy. I appreciate you're an expert on everything, but do shut up.
Yep, that's our boy. Looks like we got a bite after all.
Mr. Monroe is so happy that he's about to be attacked by a pirate.
It's shooting at us!
This is like the most interesting thing that's ever happened to him.
Ooh, some shooting. Looks like our shark turned out to be a tiger shark.
Even when he opens fire on his boat and damages it, he's still sort of, whoa, hey, this is fun.
Hawaii. Oh, it's no use.
You'd expect for a billionaire to be having more fun on his boat.
Disintegrating.
Don't worry, Dr. Beaker. Mike can handle him in Supercar.
Oh, well, thanks for reassuring me, Jimmy. I was worried. Shut up.
Hey, tell Monroe to stop the engines, pronto.
Of course, but why?
No buts, Doc. Take a look at that. You know what those are, Doc? Torpedoes.
Oh, yes, indeed, torpedoes. I thought we were going to be snagged by another mine again.
Ahoy, Argosy! Heave to, or you go to the bottom.
Ah, so there's Black Morgan. He's coming aboard.
Coming aboard, Professor.
Oh, yeah, that's what I just said. And he really looks the part. He's got this thin, craggy face, and of course there's the eye patch.
The electronic equipment down below before he has a chance to see it.
Can't not have the eye patch.
He's coming in fast. Guess you'd better get Operation Eye Patch underway. I have to sign off now.
Roger,
Operation Eye Patch.
We'll call you again when he's gone.
Now what, Dr. Beaker?
Well, I don't know. You're the one who supposedly has all the answers, you little... Just go away.
What about this consul?
But he's bound to come down here.
Precisely.
Do you think we ought to pipe him aboard?
Oh, see, he's even getting sort of sassy about this pirate attack.
If I came blasting out of the water just...
I like this guy. I like this Mr. Monroe. He's so casual about his potential
Now
doom.
remember, Professor, leave the Outrage Dignity Act to me. But what do you want with me? I carry nothing of value.
No? Don't fool me. I'm well informed. You have 100 grand in jewelry in a safe in your cabin, and I've come to get it.
The monkey. Hand over the monkey.
I could dive a few feet and get the top of the periscope.
He doesn't have a parrot, so he could do with some sort of mascot pet type thing.
With Beaker, this baby is all I have.
He's here, Dr. Beaker. Black Morgan.
Precisely.
Oh, that's who we were waiting for, Jimmy. I didn't know this part of the plan. Oh, shut up.
Very nice. Oh, great heavens. A pirate.
Oh, here we go.
Don't overdo it.
Sure, I'm a pirate. Have you been trying to use the radio? Ah, yes. Oh, just a small.
Oh, Beaker's so brilliant, and I love it when he's pretending to act scared or indignant about things.
No, no, it doesn't. Mr. Morgan here shot it away. Didn't you hear it?
No. Oh, yes. I believe I did hear something. Just the same. I'll take a look. Just to make sure.
I'm trying to work out who Black Morgan reminds me of.
Morgan, we can get through.
I don't know if he was modelled on anyone in particular, but it's quite a decent puppet, particularly for early supercar.
I'd make sure.
Oh, Mitch is winding up to...
Oh!
Oh! Ow! Gosh, I felt that.
What the? Oh, a monkey!
Mitch just lobbed a jug or something in Black Morgan's face, and it struck him full centre face, and the puppet just, like,
now then,
instantly, just fell backwards. That was extreme puppet-on-puppet violence there. Phew, wasn't ready for that.
Sure, Monroe. I thought of that. You're not armed, and I am.
I think one of the reasons that I like Mr. Monroe as well is it's obviously Graydon Gould doing the voice, and I don't know if it's obvious because he isn't necessarily as strong, as skilled at disguising his Mike Mercury voice as, say, David Graham or
You won't get away with this.
George Marcel. But the fact that Mike is separated from the rest of the supercar team and instead they've got Monroe with them,
torpedoes, we saw them.
It's not as noticeable as it would otherwise be, I think, which is a good idea.
Warheads. So they'll home on anything from a range of up to 5 miles.
Oh dear. He's a nasty piece of work, this Black Morgan.
The electric torpedoes, Professor.
Well, it means he's well up to date. If his torpedoes have electric homing heads, then he can do just what he says. Sink us from almost any range he wants.
Remember to lower the periscope, pilot, or the air drag will hold you back too much.
Now hold it a minute, Dr. Beaker. There's a snag.
Mike, why are you doing that deep voice?
One off, we are sunk. Literally.
Homing torpedoes. Well, now who's a fool?
Oh, there it is. There's the catchphrase. I think we need to introduce a new line of supercar merch, I think, at the Gerry Anderson store with that on. I could certainly do
We
with
can't talk to him until he breaks surface.
Black Morgan, here I come.
Oh, again, there's Black Morgan's ship.
Black Morgan's sure to see him.
It's probably good that they're not spending too much time on the model shots. It's there's not a lot there to show off, so they're spending just the right amount of time on it.
Beaker, didn't you hear? We've got to stop Mike from surfacing.
What? Oh, that would be quite impossible. I fear he is already on his way.
Control set for change from water to air. Speed 35 knots.
Actually, he isn't. Dr. Beaker got it wrong.
50 knots.
Well, now who's a fool?
$100 in a single hole. And they'll never catch me, not now.
Do you work alone, Black Morgan? You seem to be the only one on your ship. Oh, Mike's now taken off in supercar. I think we're planning some sort of aerial attack or diversion.
Try not to let him see you.
Now here's this, Mike. He mustn't see you. His torpedoes have got electronic homing heads, and he can hit us up to a range of 5 miles or more.
Oh, has he? That's a darned awkward thing. I'll throttle back and hope he hasn't seen me.
Well, sucks to be you guys, I guess, but I'm okay. Oh no, he's a good boy, is Mike. The supercar looks a bit different this week. There's something mounted on the front.
What's this?
I wonder if that's going to come into play later on.
Fire 1, 2.
Oh, I guess he must have someone on his ship besides him. Otherwise, nobody would be able to fire that torpedo.
I think he spotted me. I'm climbing.
But I don't think we ever see anybody else on his ship. Just him. He's
Name of Long John Silver is that thing?
He's just standing there yelling while looking through his binoculars.
It's headed your way, fast.
Torpedoes launched and running.
See, he's 4 miles off. Torpedo speed 30 knots. That gives us several minutes grace.
Several minutes?
I suggest we use him to abandon ship. He's bound to hit us.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that we lob Jimmy overboard and hope the torpedo homes in on him instead.
That's all right.
What's he doing?
Beaker!
Jamming.
Jamming?
Then I hope you like jamming too.
Argosy, get off! Abandon ship, fast! Monroe! Jumping Jehoshaphat is gonna hit us!
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think this was a bad idea, signing up with these guys.
To hear you say so, Beaker. I wish I had your confidence.
What have you done to it? It's gonna miss you by miles.
Ah, yes. Satisfactory.
Oh, I do like how intelligent these characters seem, and even though I don't know if what they've just done is actually practical, the way they devise these plans and they make it sound like it could work, again, it's another lovely touch to this show. It seems very intelligent. It's pitching at a far more mature audience than it really needs to. Anyway, Mike is now closing in on Black Morgan's ship. Ooh.
All right, Mr. Henry Morgan.
Being fired on.
Black Morgan, if that's the way you want it. Go get him, boy. Okay, my turn now.
Oh, Mr. Monroe's having such a blast now. Oh, I think that's that gunfire is actually scratched onto the frame. I'm not sure if that model was really firing there. Yeah, it looks drawn on, which I think they did in Four Feather Falls as well quite a bit.
Only need one shot. Fire!
Oh no, they hit the toy boat.
Got him!
Yeah, that explosion. Again, it wasn't at all convincing. They spent just enough time on it to make it. Oh, now it's smouldering. Some little boy has lost their bath toy.
I'd say that finishes your career as a pirate. Anything to say before we hand you over to the authorities?
Yeah, did you pick up the rest of my crew? They apparently exist.
I could have used a guy like you in my racket.
Ooh.
Boy, what a team! You and Supercar!
Oh, even he's not upset that he got defeated. No. And there's Mitch with a pirate flag and eye patch and hat. I'm going to presume that he lifted those from the body of one of Black Morgan's colleagues. Anyway, that was Supercar Pirate Plunder, and I really like that one. Just as Supercar itself is another important stepping stone in that journey from the beginnings of Twizzle up to the sort of gold standard of Thunderbirds. You can see the episodes like this really highlight the evolution that Supercar, the show itself, underwent. And I do love the fact that in this first season they were constantly trying to push themselves, to see what they could do, not just with the puppets but with the models. I think with this episode there's a really nice gelling of everything they'd learnt so far, pushing towards what they could eventually be one day in the not too distant future.
Supercar! Yeah, I like a bit of Supercar.
Beauty and Grace.
Yeah, alright, I think that'll do though.
Oh, sorry, okay.
David Graham, of course, giving us his Horatio Beaker.
I do love it when he gives a bit of his Horatio Beaker. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of campy nonsense, but I do quite like the setup of Supercar.
Yes.
Very male heavy.
Yes. that's right.
I mean, they're all boys, really, but it was very much a boys' toys show, really.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And of course, Richard, you look very much like Mitch the Monkey.
Hey! I see what you did there.
You're a dead ringer for Mike Mercury, as we well know.
So they say, they say. Now, Pirate Plunder sounds rather like the sort of thing you might find in Stingray rather than Supercar, don't you think?
Or even Lavender Castle with short thread lead.
Yes, that's right.
So,
bit of crossover there.
Bit of repeating themes across the Anderson universe. Yeah,
that's right.
Anyway, it was jolly fun, so thank you, Chris, for reviewing that lovely Supercar episode.
Yes, fantastic. Do join us.
I believe, Richard, just to insert a very tiny fab fact, I think it was the 16th one to be produced, but 13th in transmission order.
Well.
Do correct me, listeners, if I'm wrong.
16 out of how many, do you know?
39.
Really?
I think, there was a couple of series, weren't there?
Okay.
So, I think that's right.
Now, actually, an interesting thing that I brought away with me tonight.
Yes.
Do you remember just before you went up for your interview, Jamie, I said, tell me something I don't know during the interview?
Yes.
Well, you didn't, but Matt Zimmerman did.
Did I not?
No, Matt mentioned that they recorded the voices for Thunderbirds on a Sunday. 3 episodes on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I found that quite interesting.
Oh, did you?
I just assumed they'd be recording during the working week.
I guess to maximise on-set time for shooting the puppets, they kept the voice recording sessions to the weekend, hopefully then had time to edit them, and then deliver the following week.
Yeah. And it is odd, because I kind of just imagined that they would be on set, or just there 5 days a week while they did the puppets, providing the voice. It's of course they would only be there for 2 or 3 hours on a Sunday. Of course they would.
Yeah, I think they were quite disconnected. So it's really interesting. Tonight especially, you've had interviews with a lot of people who had turned up and done a few days' work on a series 40, 50 years ago. So for them, it's kind of, it's very difficult to remember the detail.
Yeah.
And for the cast of a puppet show, they're very disconnected from it.
Yes, absolutely.
So they don't have that many memories. So it's very difficult to run those things. So kudos to Rick for getting any answers at all out of any of us.
Absolutely.
And I'm very disconnected because I wasn't even there.
No, exactly. That's right. And I'm disconnected because I'd barely heard of any of them. No, I'm joking, of course. Actually, big kudos to Rick for inviting us along tonight for the event at Elstree.
Thank you,
marvellous
Rick,
evening.
For the invite and the fish sticks.
Yes.
And the sausage rolls and the Jaffa cakes and the Q&A.
Yes.
And that's about it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And I hope you've enjoyed our road trip. And join us again next week for another randomizer from Chris Dale, of course.
Yeah.
Some more news.
And we will be getting onto our interview with the QI elf Alex Bell.
Fantastic.
Which has been displaced by 1 week by the celebration of ITC, but he will be there.
Great.
Why don't you follow him on Twitter in advance, at Alex Bell.
Lovely.
He'd love that, I'm sure.
Right, see you next week then.
Okay, well, it's a bit weird now because normally we'd leave, but now we're stuck in the car.
Oh yeah, well, so we can say goodbye and then just sit next to each other for the next hour.
In silence.
Okay, we'll do that, shall we?
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Stage 1 complete.
Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
Now, here's the first for the Gerry Anderson podcast. In the toilets, we have Nicholas Briggs. Hello, Nick.
Hi, I'm very proud that you found me washing my hands.
Yeah, just thought we'd grab a few words.
Yes, which words would you like in a toilet?
How's the evening going for you?
Well, it's absolutely, what I particularly wanted to say about it is that it's so fascinating to see all these people who've been in legendary TV shows, recalling all their incredible and Amy MacDonald.
Your umbrella.
Now, but you must be thrilled with the success of Space 1999. Are you able to give us just a few words about that before you go?
I am thrilled, actually. It's been one of our most successful non-Doctor Who releases.
And so, looking forward to the next series, is there anything you can tell us? I understand you've got box sets coming up next year.
2 box sets coming out next year, yeah. But I can't really tell you any detail about it, except to say that it will be brilliant.
Nicholas Briggs, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
You have been listening to the Gerry Anderson Podcast. Wasn't it fun?